As we get started here with our first fundamental skill, binary to decimal conversions, first off, thank you for not skipping this video and the next one, because I know some people who've been around this a little bit before or have studied before say, I know how to do this, I'm skipping ahead. But this is the fundamental skill in everything else we're going to do. You can't determine what address, what subnet an IP address is on without knowing how to do this like you know how to breathe. You cannot determine the broadcast address of a subnet if you don't know what's going on at the binary level. So we're going to practice this for a few minutes, and I want to give you one tip. And I mentioned this several times throughout the course, but it's particularly true here. When you've got 5 minutes and you're going to kind of waste it, and we all do, I'm not saying that harshly, we all have a little bit of time here and there we waste, whether going on the web or whatever. What you can do instead is just pull out a piece of paper, write a binary string down without thinking about it, and say, how would I convert this to decimal? What is this in decimal? Just write out a decimal between 0 to 255 and say, okay, how would I convert this to a binary string? That kind of thing. Those little practice periods, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, really add up to success on exam day, because then you're doing it without even thinking about it. And I hear from people all the time who say, well, I was a little skeptical of that, but now I'm doing these conversions. I don't even think about it on exam day. I don't even think about it at work. I just do it. So that's how good you want to get, and that's how good we're going to get with this. Now, again, all you have to do to solve any question Cisco gives you, any question I give you, any question about subnetting that you run into in the real world, all you have to do is be able to double the number 1 7 times, which is what I've done here from right to left in the top. And that's it. Add and subtract. That's all there is to it. And we're going to start here just with a string I'll just knock out really at random. 11001100. And you could be asked to convert that to a decimal, or it will be part of an operation that you're going to do to solve a more complex question. All you're doing for these is plugging them in from left to right. That's all you're doing. So if I do that here, all I do then is add up the numbers that have ones under them, and I'm gold. That's all there is to it. And you're going to be amazed here later on in some of the videos which you think the questions are more complex, but you'll be able to do those just as quickly when you can do your binary to decimal and decimal to binary conversions just as quickly. So 11001100, all you're going to do there is add up 128 and 64 and 8 and 4. So you've got 192 with those first two numbers. You add 8, that makes 200. You add 4, that makes 204. That's all there is to it. And again, it doesn't matter if they give you 4 binary strings, 1 binary string, doesn't matter. You're doing the same thing every single time. Now, a quick tip here before we move to decimal to binary. And that is, I'll see people say, well, can I draw this stuff on the board, before I start my exam, that kind of thing. It really doesn't take you long to draw this. I wouldn't really sweat that. Again, you don't need to draw all the grid lines or anything like that. I put it here because I think it just makes things a little more clear. But the one thing I would warn you against is sometimes when people start getting a little too fast, they don't write these numbers down. Be sure to do that at the beginning of your studies and keep doing it until you're absolutely, totally comfortable without doing it. Let's put it this way. I've been doing this for a long time, never mind exactly how long, and I still write those numbers down. It takes 10 to 15 seconds. You'll write them down after practicing and not even think about it. So let's go ahead and I want to clear these out. Ta-da! And we're going to do the other operation, which is decimal to binary. And there's a little more to it, but not much. And all you're going to do, and I'll just pull 172. Let me make that a little bit bigger. I like the different programs for this and tablets you could write on live and that kind of thing, and this still worked better for everybody. So we've got 172. If you were asked to convert this to a binary string, that's one of the most intimidating things when you're getting started. It's like, oh, I don't know about that. It's easy. All you're doing now is working from left to right, and it's going to sound complicated when I explain it. And if you read it in one of my books, you say, oh, okay, I think I got it. And then when you're doing it, you're like, oh, that's all there is to it. And that's exactly how you're going to feel with this. So all we're doing here is going from left to right and saying, can I subtract this value, whatever the first one is, or the one you're on, from this? and not have a value below 0. That's all you're doing. So can I subtract 128 from 172? Sure I can. So I'm going to put a 1 there. So if I'm subtracting 128 from that, what do I have left? I believe that's 44. So we have 44. Can I subtract 64 from 44? No, I cannot. So I'm going to put a 0 right there. Can I subtract 32 from 44? Sure I can. And it's 12. So I'm going to put a 1 right there because I have 1 unit of 32. Can I subtract 16 from 12? No, I can't. Can I subtract 8 from 12? Yes, I can. And that gives me a remainder of 4. I'm not even going to put that down here because we can go with that. So 12 minus 8, actually I will. 12 minus 8 equals 4. That's what I have left. Can I subtract 4 from 4? Sure I can. And that gives me 0. So once you reach 0, you can just go ahead and put a 0 in for the rest of your values. And that's it. Congratulations. You just converted your first decimal to a binary string. And that's all you're going to do for any number. And if they give you a dotted decimal address, 222.44.37.16, whatever they give you, you're using the exact same plan. You're just going to do it 4 times. You'll do it once for each individual number. And that's really all there is to it. A couple of notes here before we move on. Values that you will never see here. If you have a 2 in one of these, or heaven forbid anything larger, you need to go back and do it again. You'll never have anything but a 1 or a 0 here. Remember, it's all 1s and 0s. This is what we're taking all that data and breaking it down to 1s and 0s. And we do the same thing here with our conversions. So you'll never have a 2, and you'll never have a remainder. If you have a remainder at the end of this, you've definitely done something incorrect and you need to go back. So that's really all there is to it. These 2 fundamental skills, you can master them in a few minutes. If you take 5 minutes every single day before your exam, 5 minutes, and spend it on this skill, you'll be very grateful, very glad that you did that on exam day. So let's take these skills and we're going to move to the next video and take it up just one more notch. I'll see you on the next video.